until we get that respect for each other. So the question you were asking about was the business, right? A couple months ago on TikTok, there was this big thing about African American having some type of misunderstanding, right? And then it was supposed to be a boycott of African, right. So I think the biggest thing with that is that we still have a cultural misunderstanding. And it's meant to be that way, right? So until we come together and sit down and really understand these cultural differences that really are the same, right? You know what I mean? We were taught not to look, granddad right in the face. You know what I mean? But that has been lost, and it continues to be lost because the greatest fear of the Western society is that black people will come together, more especially the African and African American, and come together and realize their power and their unity. Right? That's the greatest fear of the Western Hemisphere. It's not money. It's not none of that. But for it was in the law that the three of us couldn't stand together on the sidewalk.
Guys, I don't know either you knew or not, but my brother over here, he's just emphasizing that in the past, you could not see three black people standing together.
No.
You can just imagine. But today we are talking about bridging the gap between the Africans and the African diaspora. So right now we are trying to see what we can do, or what you can also do, to making sure that when you see an African American, you see your brother.
Absolutely. We just got to begin to understand each other culturally, because there are some cultural differences, but this cultural difference with the Chinese that we chose to learn about, right? They bow and they do all these other things, but we have been so blinded and so colonized that we can't see each other. Again, that is done on purpose. We're not allowed to do that. They don't want us to do that. When Europeans come over here, or all these other ones come out here and they say they're in the diaspora, they come over here with different realities. Like, they weren't in the law not allowed to do certain things, but we were.
Wow.
So yeah, it's not going to be the same way where they can come over here. Even the Africans that come, you don't have to go through the same stream. Like when you walk into the bank, you black until you start speaking.
That's exactly
right. And then now they know that there's a different way that you think and feel. But as an African American, there are still laws on the books that don't allow us to do things. And it's a cultural thing. Africans, when they come here, you are guided to white neighborhoods.
That's exactly.
You're not even shown the black neighborhoods to live in. You don't even know where they're at. Right? So that's, again, to keep us culturally divided. So then you never come to my events, right? You never come to the African American events, the African American parade, festivals, whatever, because there's still that disconnect. And until we bridge the gap, until we say, yes, I'm gonna go over there because I want to know, and then that African American is gonna go and say, well, you came to mine, I gotta go to yours. And it starts building that, but it can't be one way. It can't be that the African American does everything and sends everything over to Africa and nothing comes back, because most of us aren't leaving, right? Even the culture, even if there's nothing else, let's not talk about economics, let's just talk about culture.
Culture, yes.
Bring your culture here, your spirituality, your understanding of how to be, so that we can regain that, because we lost who we are. We don't know who we are as people.
So brothers and sisters, you can hear the conversation that we are having over here. If we talked about how to bridge the gap, it starts with you guys. It's not just only African American to follow you guys, but what do? Do you find time to go and see what our brothers and sisters are also doing, or where do they stay, in the community where they live? Have you ever taken a ride and said, today I'm just going to take a ride and know where my brothers are staying? Or you just say, I don't have nothing to do with them as long as I live in the white neighborhood. Today we are talking about bridging the gap. My brother, is there anything else you want to add as we are talking about bridging this gap?
No, I mean, he would have said everything. And me, I can see both sides, and I do really both sides. I have a lot of African American friends, and obviously, I'm part of the African all the different African. I go to all the different African countries, whether it be obviously Zambian functions, Ghana functions, Nigerian functions. So I understand and I see the divisiveness, even in African cultures. But just like you said, once we realize that we are one and our differences are not that many, then you'll see that we'll be able to come together more and do things more. So, for example, that's why we haven't, we incorporated the African ancestry so that African Americans can find out where they're from in Africa. And once they find out where they're from in Africa, we share the same. We share the same lineage. Anything can happen after that. So it's a start, but we just have to keep going on, because obviously there's forces that's gonna try to keep us divided. But we just have to keep pushing on.
So brothers and sisters, this time around we need each other more than ever before. We need to come together. When you see an African American, just see that you have seen your brother. Talk to them, say hi. We shouldn't have these bridges in between us and them, like, oh no, it's them and it's us. If we're going to talk about Africa develop, it would start from all of us that are in diaspora coming together. We can't start with thinking about Africa and yet we can't talk to our brother who is just behind our neighbors. So the challenge is up to you. I'll leave the description box. Write to me if you're going to visit 10 African homes or just go into an African neighborhood. It will start from love. Then we can bridge the bridges. Is there anything else, my brother?
No, I'm good. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much, brothers. Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate it. Guys, we'll see you again. There's a fashion show over that side, because today and tomorrow, it's completely celebrate Africa. It will take the very us to talk about our own continent. We're not going to expect someone else from Europe and write about Africa. We need to change the narrative about our home. I love you guys.
All right.
Bye.